Well, Penguins fans are not mad Thursday night. I am Dan Kingerski here at Madison Square Garden. The Penguins lose to the New York Rangers 4-2, and no, Penguins fans are not mad. It seems resignation, disappointment, dispirited might be a term. I will tell you the locker room doesn't necessarily share Penguins fans' sentiment. But there was, look, the Penguins know they missed a chance. There were a few sour faces in the Penguins locker room after the game, though I didn't sense a great deal of anger or even frustration. It was more that they understood what they didn't do. Actually, the Rangers were a good bit faster than them. It wasn't that the Penguins were entirely flat, though Mike Sullivan did specifically say his team didn't bring the level of urgency that they needed. Isn't that a huge indictment of this team? Maybe, you know what, as I say all of this out loud, talking to Rickard Rakell and Chris Letang after the game and being in the room, I think either the Penguins are going to brush this off, and it never happened, or this might be the game that pops the bubble just a little bit. Very much like Carolina did to the Penguins back in December, and then the Penguins went on that, that free fall from late December through almost, basically through January. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I think the response on Saturday will tell us a lot about this team. I mean, look, we're 68 games into the season, and we don't really know which Penguins team we're going to see on a night-to-night basis. I don't recall telling you that at any point in the last 6 years in the Mike Sullivan era. But here we are, a team lacking urgency in a divisional game in which they needed to win to have a chance at third place. Now they're 10 points back, and they didn't. They were brutal in the first period. I mean, those odd man rushes and the mistakes that they were making. Good God Almighty! I'm kind of propped up a little bit here in the boxes at MSG, so bear with me. I want to get to it. It is another Penguins Q&A. I will say this: how in the world does a team lack urgency in this game? Now, I want to be fair. Mike Sullivan brought up a lack of urgency. And then he kind of pushed back a little bit when I asked him, well, is it concerning that your team lacked urgency? And he's like, I don't know what you mean by that question. I thought it was a very fair question. Is it concerning to the head coach that a team with the stakes so high lacked urgency like that? How does this continue to happen? There was also a moment, I don't know if the television cameras caught it, after the Rangers' second goal, which was kind of a fumble between Jeff Carter, why he didn't back it up at center ice towards, the good part of the red line. He kind of shoveled it at P.O. Joseph, who was a little bit handcuffed by it. Tyler Motte scores. Letang fished the puck out of the net, actually, just over my shoulder, swept it over to the boards. That's not an uncommon occurrence. Then he skated over to the puck he swept out of the net and fired it the length of the ice and kind of skulked to the bench. I was watching intently. I couldn't see if he was saying anything or just visibly angry. It was not a strong game, I would say, by P.O. Joseph, which brings us to, let's see, one of the questions I got. Where is it? El Frasco asks if the Penguins will call up Mark Friedman to replace P.O. Joseph in the lineup. I would say, Frasco, I don't know if that will be necessary. We'll see the extent of Jeff Petry's injury. He was elbowed by Motte in the first period. He played $134, so the Penguins played with 5 defensemen for most of the game. We'll see the extent of Petry's injury if he can, in fact, return soon. I would imagine Friedman to be called up if actually, I take that back, because of the salary cap situation. They would have to put Petrie on long-term injured reserve to have the money to call up Friedman. Otherwise, because Chad Ruedel is available, I don't believe an emergency call-up would be accessible to the Penguins at this point. So on the surface, I'm going to say no. However, I will grant you, Frasco, El Frasco, that Joseph in the last couple of games has been shaky. These have been maybe his worst games of the season. He's looked unsure, unsteady, timid and tentative, and mistake-prone, and not taking advantage of things. And obviously, I guess I have a bit of a reputation for being in PO's corner. So I know I got a couple of tweets during the game. Will you finally end this love affair with P.O. Joseph? You know, I get it, Penguins fans. When things are going wrong, you have to find scapegoats and hate and anger. And yeah, I understand. And I'm telling you here very clearly that Joseph has not been good enough in the last couple or few games that he's played. It would be very tempting to put Friedman in the lineup if they could. I don't think they can, however. Or, you know, we'll see if they'll have the opportunity. Stephanie says, I'm not mad, I am disappointed. Lemieux67 says, and here I think he encapsulated a lot of Penguins fans' heart on Thursday night. What's the point of it anymore? They're going to be one and done. I don't know that they are one and done. Lemieux67 and the rest of the Penguins fans. And here's why. This team has a gear that they can get to that is special. They can be a great... They've shown flashes of it. And I have to wonder if they're so old, they're too experienced, that getting up for they know the meaninglessness of the regular season, and they're struggling to put forth their best foot on a night-to-night basis because, look, there's only 3 guys 25 and under. If I'm scanning, you know, they've got what? How many guys under 30? In the lineup? Not many at all, are there? There's only a few guys under 30 in the entire Penguins lineup. We're going to make this a little short because I see security just out of the corner of my eye keep checking in on me, like, what's this guy doing? we're cutting, and they're being respectful. I appreciate that, and I'll have to give them a thank you on the way out. Jack Hammer says, yeah, you can't be mad when you expect the result. Man, you guys are dour. You guys are fatalists. That's for sure. Canadian Pens asks, do I get the sense they will re-sign Tristan Jarry in the offseason? Canadian Pens thinks they need a refresh in goal. It's impossible to ask if I get a sense of what the Penguins are going to do. It really is. Just it's impossible because the people who know don't talk. So would I move on from Tristan Jarry? It's going to depend a lot on price. If Jarry thinks he can get top dollar on the free agent market, then absolutely. If he's reasonably priced at a reasonable term, I probably would go with him. But I certainly wouldn't overpay or overextend for Tristan Jarry. I also assume they know a lot more about this nagging or chronic injury that he has. If it just needs surgery to be repaired, if it is going to be a chronic condition for the rest of his career. I assume they know more about that. So it's a little tough to answer without that piece of the puzzle too, right? Let's see here. Don asks, is there a possibility that Burke and Hextall are gone after the season? Again, I mean, a possibility? Sure. If you're asking me where the possibility ranks between meteor hitting the Earth and very likely, I have no idea where it fits in that. And there again, because the people who make the decisions aren't exactly available or talkative or, quite frankly, even known who would make that decision. Welcome to the state of the Penguins. You know, corporate ownership is where they're at right now. So who makes that decision? I have no idea. If they're happy, if they're sad, if they're indifferent, we don't know. So, look, if I'm a betting man, I bet Hextall and Burke are back for one more season. I don't think they should be buying green bananas if they don't have a good summer. I don't think they should be very comfortable if the Penguins don't have a good summer and get off to a bad start next year. If these mistakes continue to pile up, and I'll incredulously ask once again, how do these mistakes continue to happen? It's as mind-boggling as it probably is frustrating for you. I mean, I've covered the best of this era in 2016, and it feels like this is probably the worst of this era. This team is probably as maddening or as frustrating as the 2015 team that had a 3-1 lead to the Rangers. And wait, no, that was 14? They had 3-1. It all runs together. But anyway, the team that had the Rangers down 3-1 back in 14 or 15 and squandered that. That was when Marty St. Louis' mother unfortunately passed, and the Rangers just went on the tear. But the Penguins made it easier on them too. Hey, by the way, did you see Brandon Sutter is attempting a comeback? He thinks this summer he'll finally be over the long-term COVID and able to really do the things he needs to do physically, breathing-wise, and health-wise to be back on the ice next season. He is 34. I guess he'll be 35 next season. I had a weird question. Where is it here? Oh, JRO. I saved you for last, bud. Will the Penguins go back to the Vegas gold jerseys from Crosby and Crosby's rookie year? Don't know, don't care, man. Sorry. Not my purview, not my frame of reference, and I just like things I can complain about. I never liked the Vegas gold, by the way. It was dull, dingy. I like the bright, the fresh gold that they use now. Infinitely better. I hate the Robo Penguin. I like the white reverse retros. I love the black script, the black block lettering, Pittsburgh. I love those. Hate the pigeon. And that will just about do it here from Madison Square Garden. The Penguins practice on Friday morning, literally during the St. Patty's Parade. So I'm going to have to navigate Manhattan through a St. Patty's Parade to get over to practice. And the Penguins are, in fact, preparing for a very difficult day getting in, getting out, and getting around tomorrow. And no, I will not be having any green beer. I'm not sure why. I guess I'm getting old. All right. Everyone, thank you for the questions. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you again, I guess, Saturday night. We'll do another Penguins Q&A on the National Hockey Now and Pittsburgh Hockey Now YouTube channels. Do me a favor, like and subscribe right down there. I'm Dan Kingerski at Madison Square Garden.